recording. Sum on shares. India Machines Limited is registered with authorized capital of rupees 10 lakh divided into 1 lakh equity shares. The company issued 10,000 shares to its vendor for building purchase and 50,000 were offered to the public. The amount per share was payable as follows: rupees 5 on application including premium, rupees 4 on allotment, and rupees 3 on first and final call. 40,000 shares were subscribed to the public. All calls were made. A shareholder holding 1,000 shares failed to pay first and final call money. His shares were forfeited and 50% of forfeited shares were reissued at rupees 9 per share. Journalize the above and show share capital in balance sheet. Also prepare notes to accounts. So in this case, first let us understand this sum. In this sum, we are given the authorized capital is rupees 10 lakh, which is divided into 1 lakh equity share. That means price per share is equals to 10 lakhs divided by 1 lakh, that is number of equity share, total amount divided by 1 lakh equity share, that will give me rupees 10. That means price per share was rupees 10. Then the company issued 10,000 shares to its vendor for building. That means for these 10,000 shares which was issued to the vendor of the company will not be receiving any cash amount, but it will be added to the issued and subscribed capital while making the balance sheet. Moving further, 50,000 were offered to the public. So this 50,000 which was offered to the public plus this 60,000 which was given to the vendor for building purchased will be forming part of the issued capital. Then the amount per share was payable as follows. The amount was given. Okay, the amount is 5 rupees on application plus 4 rupees on allotment, which makes it 9 rupees, and 3 rupees on first and final call. So total amount 5 plus 4 plus 3 is giving me 12 rupees. But the face value per share is rupees 10 only. What I am getting is rupees 5. If I am to divide the share capital मेरा 3 parts में divided है. Rupees 5 on application, rupees 4 on allotment, and rupees 3 on first and final call. Now this amount of rupees 5 is including premium. The total that I am getting is rupees 12. But it should be 10 only. I am getting 2 rupees more. I am asking for 2 rupees more. That means this amount of 5 is not actually 5. This is 3 plus 2, in which this rupees 2 is my premium amount. So share capital is 3 plus 4, 7 plus 3, 10. Share capital is 10 and 2 rupees is premium. This 2 rupees is payable on application. Again, I am repeating, if nothing is given in the question, then it is assumed that the premium amount, if any, will be paid along with the allotment money. Moving further, 40,000 shares were subscribed to the public. Now, this means that out of 50,000 which were offered to the public, which formed the part of issued capital, subscribed will carry only 40,000. 10,000 short were subscribed by the public. So subscribed capital will carry this 10,000 plus this 40,000, that is 50,000 shares. Moving further, all calls were made, and if nothing is being given with respect to whether money has been received or not, then we have to assume that if all calls were made, then all the money was duly received also. An exception is there. One condition is there. A shareholder holding 1,000 shares failed to pay first and final call. That means that he paid application as well as allotment money. Along with application money, premium money was also given. Premium was also given along with the application money. His shares were forfeited after call was he failed to pay the money. Now 50% of his forfeited shares was reissued at rupees 9. That means if the face value is rupees 10, that means 1 rupee discount was given at the time of reissue. Journalize the above, show share capital and balance sheet, show share capital in balance sheet, and also prepare notes to account. This is my question. Now how are we going to solve it? Firstly, we'll start with the journalizing. We'll also have to write in the books of India Machines Limited. We'll be making columns for date, particulars, ledger folio, amount, debit amount here, and credit amount. First entry for journalizing will always be for the share application money. As we know, on application 5 per share was asked. So people subscribe for only 40,000 shares. So I'll be receiving application money on these 40,000 shares only. Date, as I do not know, I'm not going to write anything. Here it is going to be bank account debit, to share application money. As I've told you, we won't be putting the amount directly to share capital, because on receipt, firstly on receiving the money, we don't allot the shares there itself, that whosoever has given application will be allotting shares. We'll first put into share application account, and thereafter we'll see to whom we are allotting. Only to people whom we are allotting the money, their money will be transferred to the share capital account. So here we'll be receiving money on share application was received on 40,000 shares at the rate of rupees 5 each. The amount is 40,000 shares into 5 is giving me 2 lakh rupees. I'm not writing narration. You may please write it down. It's very easy. Being share application money received on 40,000 shares at the rate of rupees 5 each. Now, as we know, that was given in the question itself, that the 5 rupees included premium money also. We have made the segregation also. The 2 rupees was for premium, and 3 will go to share capital, and 2 will go for premium. Share application account debit to share capital account, to securities, premium reserve account. Now, as share capital had 3 rupees. 3 into 40,000 is going to give me 1,20,000, and securities premium reserve account, the amount will be 2 into 40,000, that is rupees 80,000. Moving further, next we received allotment money. As you can see here in the question, we can see next 4 rupees was for allotment. Now in this case, we won't be receiving money first, but we'll be calling for the money, thereby making the amount due. Here we'll be putting the amount to share capital account when we are making the amount due. We called on all the 40,000 shares at rupees 4 each, which gives us 1,60,000. Now, as nothing has been given with this respect that all whether any arrear was there or not, I'll assume that all the money was duly received here. So next entry is going to be bank account debit then the sum says rupees 3 was called on was due on first and final call. So when I'll be calling for first and final call, I'll be calling on all the shareholders. I'll be calling from all the shareholders. First and final call account debit to share capital account into through 1,20,000. Further, we are informed in this respect that all the money was not received here because a person holding 1,000 share, he failed to pay first and final call. So when I'll be receiving this money from bank, it is going to be bank account debit, where I am going to receive 40,000 minus 1,000 money on 39,000 shares at the rate of rupees 3. Then the amount which I am not receiving, I'll be putting it into calls in arrear account, 1,000 shares at the rate of 3 each to share first and final call account. So this is going to be 1,000 into 3, 3,000 out of 1,20,000, which was supposed to be received. I did not receive 3,000, so it is going to be 1,17,000. Now moving further, once this money, the final call money, was not received from the shareholder, we forfeited those shares. So forfeiture entry will be passing. In that case, we'll be reversing the share capital. Now, as we know, we have called final call. We have made final call also to this person. So we have actually for these 1,000 shares, we have credited share capital with 10 rupees in full. So we'll be reversing that 10 rupees, but we will not be reversing premium. The premium amount that we have received, that is 2 per share, we won't be reversing that amount. We'll be keeping it in share securities premium account only, as we have received the premium in full. For 1,000 share, full credit was made, 10,000 debit. 2 calls in arrear. Calls in arrear account was created because calls in arrear account was created because this shareholder failed to pay 3,000. Now we'll be reversing because we do not expect him to give this 3,000 in future. We are forfeiting his share. The remaining amount will be transferred to share forfeited account. In this account, the money that we have received from this shareholder, the one we are forfeiting, money received and forfeited, will be putting that amount over here. So on 1,000 shares as share capital, we received application money and also allotment money. We received 7 per share from this shareholder whose share we are forfeiting. So this is going to be 7,000. Share capital account debit 10,000 to calls in arrear account 3,000 to share forfeited account 7,000. Now we are further reissuing 50% of these shares, that is out of 1,000 shares, if 50% we are to take, that is 500 shares. We are reissuing those 500 shares. So we'll be receiving money, bank account debit. We reissued at the rate of 9 per share. So 500 into 9 will give me 4,500. Now 1 rupee discount was given. So that does not make that in share capital account, discounted amount will go. In share capital account, full 10 rupees for these 500 shares will be entered. That is 5,000 shares. This 500 rupees discount that we are going to give on these 500 shares will try to recover from this share forfeited account that we created over here. This is the amount that we have received. We have received on these for reissued shares. The shares that we are reissuing, on these shares we received this forfeited amount. So we'll try to take out, we'll try to make up for the discount that we are giving on these shares from this share forfeited account. So I'll be putting here share forfeited account debit with rupees 500. Now whatever is remaining in share forfeited account in respect of these reissued 500 shares will be transferred to capital reserve account. So let us calculate how to calculate the amount that will be transferred to capital reserve. So on these 500 shares, we have received 7 per share, that is 3,500 rupees. Out of this, 1 rupee discount was given, that is 500 into 1. So 3,000 rupees pertaining to these reissued 500 shares is still remaining in the share forfeited account. We will be putting this amount to capital reserve. Entry will be to capital reserve account 3,000. So here we complete our journal entries. Now we'll be doing balance sheet. So in this, how we are going to start? Now again, balance sheet of India Machines Limited as on. As nothing is given, I'll just put dot dot dot. First item is equity and liabilities Then under that we have shareholders fund, share capital. Amount will be getting from notes to accounts. So we'll be making notes to accounts here. In this, forgot to write the headings, partition, particulars, note number, and amount in rupees. So in notes to account, first will be my, as I'm giving note number 1 to share capital, I'll be putting just in front of this 1. This is having share capital calculation, detailed one, which I am to show in the balance sheet. First item is going to be authorized capital, which as given in the question, authorized share capital, that is 10 lakh, which is divided into 1 lakh equity share. So I am going to write here 1 lakh shares of rupees 10 each. So amount is going to be 10 lakh. Then I've got issued capital. So in issued share capital, if you remember, 10,000 were issued to the vendor for buildings and 50,000 were offered to the public. So this will carry both 50,000 plus that 10,000. So 60,000 shares of rupees 10 each. So this is going to be 6 lakh rupees. Then in subscribed, we have got subheading subscribed and fully paid, because we do not have shares not fully paid. After this, one more sum will be doing, in that I'll be showing that also. So subscribed will carry 10,000, which was given. Subscribed capital will carry 10,000, which were issued to the vendor for building. Then 40,000, which was subscribed by the public. But in that 40,000, 1,000 were forfeited, and again 500 were reissued. So my calculation is going to be, see, initially 10,000 for the building I gave, then 40,000 were subscribed by the public. Ideally, it should carry 50,000 shares, but in that 1,000 were forfeited. So this becomes 49,000, and again in this 500 were reissued. So this is going to be 49,500. I hope you all understand this. 49,500 shares of rupees 10 each is going to be 495,010. 4,95,000. Now to this, I will be adding share forfeited account balance. So that had share forfeited account had 7,000. 7,000. In that 7,000, firstly, out of this 7,000, 500 was debited here. So remaining amount is 6,500, and 3,000 were further debited over here. So remaining, so 7,000 overall it had. From that, 3,000 here and 500 here were reduced. So that means I have got 3,500 in this account. Also, I can show this by share forfeited account, which I can make over here. Best way is to make an account of it. So initially, when I forfeited share, it had credit balance of rupees 7,000 from share capital. You can see entry over here. So share capital was debited and share forfeited was credited with rupees 7,000. It was debited by rupees 500 when shares were reissued. So 500 was debited because of share capital, and here again it was debited for capital reserve because the balance was transferred to capital reserve. So here it is going to be to share capital 500 to capital reserve 3,000. So to balance carried down, I've got 3,500. The total which I am going to receive over here, I'm writing it over here. Please note, this is your total of the capital. Don't need to write over here. I'll write it. This is my inner column. In notes to accounts. No, sorry. This I'm going to do these two calculations. Going to write this two in inner column. That was 44,95,000 plus rupees 3,500, the one I had in share forfeited account. The total will come over here. This 4,98,500 will come here. 4,98,500, and hence the sum is now complete. Balance sheet part will leave it as it is because we do not know about other items of the balance.